Hello, Willard Wildcats. You have been thinking about weather and climate.
You know that weather describes the conditions in the atmosphere at one point in time. The weather changes hour by hour, day by day. You know that climate describes long term seasonal patterns of weather. Some places on Earth have cold winters and cold summers. Some places have warm winters and hot summers. There are different climate zones on Earth, and each zone has its own seasonal pattern of weather. Scientists know so much about weather and climate because weather data, temperatures, rainfall, wind speed, and so on, that weather data has been recorded by scientists for many years, in some places hundreds of years. And it's been recorded all over the world. When scientists look at this weather data, they see that there have been some shifts in the climate. That is, there's been some changes. The average weather patterns have been changing. The climate has been changing. The changes are the biggest in the last 20 or 30 years. Temperatures are slightly warmer. There are more extreme weather events, such as droughts, floods, hurricanes, and blizzards or ice storms. Scientists have noticed and measured these changes. But what could be causing global temperatures to change? The answer is related to this: a greenhouse. Now, because we live in Southern California, you might have never seen a greenhouse before. They are built in areas that get very cold in the winter. Plants can grow inside a greenhouse all winter long. It's called a greenhouse because the plants will stay green in this glass house all winter long. Even when it's freezing cold outside, heat energy from the sun can enter through the glass windows, and it is trapped inside the greenhouse, making it much warmer. Even through the night, enough heat is trapped that the plants inside the greenhouse stay alive. This trapping of heat is called the greenhouse effect. We are lucky that the Earth's atmosphere, the layer of air that's around the Earth, we're lucky that the atmosphere acts like a greenhouse. Heat energy from the sun passes through the atmosphere and gets absorbed by certain gases in the air. These greenhouse gases warm up the atmosphere and help keep the temperature of the Earth warm enough all night long. Because the Earth is kept warm enough all year long, day and night, living things can survive on Earth. The greenhouse effect allows life to exist on Earth.
Greenhouse gases exist naturally in the atmosphere, and they have for millions of years. The problem is, because of choices that we are making as a society, the total number of greenhouse gases that are in the atmosphere has been increasing. And the more greenhouse gases there are, the more heat is trapped. The more heat is trapped, the warmer it gets.
There are a number of different greenhouse gases that exist naturally in the atmosphere, and I would like us to think about two: methane and carbon dioxide. Methane is a gas that is found naturally on Earth. If you have a gas stove, the natural gas that burns in your stove is mostly methane. Methane is released many different ways, but one way is from animals that eat grass. Grass is really difficult to digest. Cows, sheep, horses, they all have stomachs that work hard to break down the grass and release energies that they can use. Now, when they digest the grass, methane is released. The animals burp up this methane and release it into the air. Now, a few cows or a few horses don't release very much methane, but when large numbers of grass-eating animals, especially cows, are raised, well, then a lot of methane is released. There are large farms or large agribusinesses that raise hundreds of cows in one location.
Methane from farm animals is a problem, but a much bigger problem is a different greenhouse gas, carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide is found naturally in the atmosphere. Our bodies release carbon dioxide as a waste product. All animals breathe out some carbon dioxide every time we breathe out. But animals have a fantastic relationship with plants. Carbon dioxide is our waste, but it is what the plants need to survive. Plants absorb carbon dioxide from the air, and they release oxygen as their waste product. Animals and plants have been sharing carbon dioxide and oxygen back and forth for millions of years. But over the last couple of hundred years, humans have been doing something that releases a large amount of extra carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Humans burn fossil fuels to make our machines work. When any fossil fuel is burned, coal, gas, or oil, then carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere. One car might not release that much carbon dioxide, but there are millions of cars on the road every day. Cars and trucks, factories, power plants, they all release carbon dioxide when they burn fossil fuels. Third graders, you are in an IB unit about sustainable agriculture. If you are a farmer, or if you own an agricultural business, what could you do to reduce the amount of greenhouse gases that your farm releases? Well, first let's think about methane. If grass-eating animals, like cows, release a lot of methane, well, maybe you want to consider how many cows you want to raise on your farm. The fewer grazing animals you have, the less methane will be released. Second, and a much bigger problem, carbon dioxide. Well, how will you power your farm? Will you power it from the burning of fossil fuels or from something else? If something else, then what could that something else be? What types of farm vehicles will you use? Will they burn gasoline to run? And then how will you get your crops to the market? How far does your food have to travel? The further it travels, the more fuel that needs to be burned.
These are questions that farmers today are trying to answer. They do not want to do something that will increase global temperatures, but they also need to survive as a business. You are IB thinkers, and I cannot wait to hear some of your possible solutions to these problems. I'll see you next time.